as I was saying, that one thing that I felt with age is that I don't want to, since my 20s, I don't want to be inefficient. I don't want to waste time. I want to do things that will, for lack of a better term, improve me. It sounds stupid. It does. But I think that comes down to being, I don't know, hungry for more, but mainly it's just, feeling somewhat inadequate, I suppose. Never quite feeling like you're enough. I'm not going to get deep about it, but I think it's clear that some of these feelings of having to improve, the incessant feelings, come from, you know, a, a troubled past, let's say. Even if that troubled past is just feeling like you had to compete a lot, or you had lots of school friends who are very smart, and even if it's something simple like that. So I have had this feeling ever since I entered my 20s. I'm now in my 30s, and I think that it's disappearing a little bit, but not much. It's sort of eased up a little bit. And I found it very difficult for a while to actually even play computer games, because I felt like that was the use of time that wasn't efficient, or wasn't helping me to improve in a way that I cared about. But actually, the things that I care about have changed, and thus how I feel about games has changed a little bit too. Like, I care more about people, conversations, and and I think and meaning. And one of the main places I used to get meaning from was work. And now I suppose I feel like I get a lot of meaning from, as is obvious, from relationships with people. And one way to do that is through gaming and playing with friends. Another way is through storytelling. And I feel like this allows for both of those things. I definitely feel like I get a lot from being able to play these games. I learn how to, I don't know, tell a better story. It engages my imagination, which I love, actually. I really love. I found that it's bled over into my real life as well. And that I take more time to look at the world, and to look at the details in the world, and think about stories about who people are as well, and where they've come from. And so actually playing these games in this way has made me look at the world in a more intricate manner, let's say, more careful way. And then also just the sort of the social component as well. It's definitely helped me to become more of a sort of a person that takes time to, or spends time with friends now a bit more, and socializes a bit more. And this is a conversation topic for a lot of people as well. It's People are very interested in hearing about this. Anyway, I think there have been lots of positives that have come from this. The only thing that I'm finding now, though, is I don't want to play these games too much. There is absolutely this phenomenon of over engaging in a pleasure. I think if you were to have too much of a good thing, that thing can become become too much, I think, and you become sick of it. It's sort of like listening to a song that you absolutely adore over and over and over again. When you do that, I I tend to not want to hear it anymore until I've spent a bit more time away from it. So with this game and this streaming, I try to only play it for 2 hours a day max in the mornings before work, because it keeps me in a place where I'm just on the cusp of getting a bit sort of like, oh, that's too much, but not quite there. So it keeps me eager for the next day's adventuring. Anyway, all that to say, there's been some interesting changes, I feel, in the way that I face gaming now compared to how I used to, and also just the changes this has provoked in me. Um, seem to be all positive, and it's fun. It's nice to engage the child in you again. And I feel like I know that that's something that is very much lost in society today. And I wonder if it ever was as bad as I feel like modern day is, in terms of like actually losing a sense uh, of fun in adult years. Children obviously know how to have fun; they know how to use their imagination, but adults don't tend to, or at least they used to. They tend to be harbingers, let's say, of the opposite of fun, of seriousness, of adulthood, I suppose. But I think play is very important. There's lots of studies on play in children and how it encourages them to socialize, to learn how to socialize, to learn boundaries, all these things. But in adults, I don't know if it's so well understood as to its benefits. But I can imagine from like a creativity point of view that engaging your imagination regularly would help you to be more creative if that's what you care about in whatever it is that you are most interested in. I mean, as I said, one of the small changes I found in myself thus far is that I do find myself going through the world and engaging in this sort of creative, imaginative process of trying to guess why things are the way they are, why certain buildings are shaped the way they are, and it's just weird, boring stuff, but actually things I never gave the time to think about previously. It's sort of a feeling of a bit like mindfulness, I suppose, in the way that I go about the world. I'm more present at the same time as being sort of stuck in my head, creating scenarios about what I'm seeing around me.